Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tax Show for People Who Owe. I'm Dave.
And I'm Phil.
And we are so happy it's summer. Hopefully you are. Phil, what do we like about summer?
The beach, vacations, and barbecues, right?
Those are great things. What do we love about summer?
What we love here at Optima is it's time to get to work for taxpayers who owe.
Great point. We just got back from D.C. to advocate for taxpayers who owe, meeting with congressmen and senior IRS officials, really to figure out how we can best solve the major problems we're all dealing with, right?
Absolutely.
So Phil, what are some of our takeaways meeting with the congressmen and the new IRS leadership we met?
Right, with the new commissioner, there's always a new mission statement, and it was very clear to us in that room that the main mission statement for this commissioner was rebuilding trust with the taxpayer.
Very, very important. A lot of it's been lost during the pandemic, and all the headlines and news has been generally negative about the IRS.
Right.
But we're seeing a more positive theme, more engaging IRS, more than we've ever seen before. So what's some of the things we can expect?
Like I always say, with the new strategic plan that the IRS has, actions speak louder than words. And for us, we've seen the IRS staff up 5,000 customer service agents. That's been done already, and really increase the level of service across the board.
Indeed. We've seen a huge improvement this tax season compared to last on answer rates. If you call the IRS, you're probably going to get an answer this year. That's meaningful impact to taxpayers. That's going to build that trust you referenced, correct?
Absolutely.
What else are we looking at in the strategic plan that taxpayers who owe can expect?
What's exciting is that the improvements are not going to stop. It's not just going to be about more staff, more people. We've really seen a big push for modernization of the Internal Revenue Service to really bring it up to speed with the current industry and best practices.
Those best practices are generally happening in the private sector.
Right.
And what's great about the Taxpayer Experience Office specifically, it was created to help engage with the private sector to make these improvements.
Right, it's a collaboration.
Okay, have they engaged with us and how have we been participating?
Oh, absolutely on both fronts. They've been engaging and really listening. I think that's the most important thing.
Great. Another thing we learned from our visit when we asked the commissioner was that there's a ton of extensions out there again this tax season. So what should we be telling taxpayers who owe that haven't filed yet they should expect?
Same message every time, do something. In this case, file, especially if you don't have an extension on file, because an extension to file is just that, just an extension to file and not an extension to pay.
Great point, Phil. And why is that message more important this year than last?
Because remember, not only are penalties accruing every month on your account if you haven't paid your taxes, so is interest. And as we all know, this year, interest is at an all-time high.
Skyrocketing. So you get the point. If you haven't filed and paid, consider doing it sooner to avoid that skyrocketing interest. Now, let's go on to the policy side, Phil. We met with congressmen and also senior executives of the IRS and talked about policy. One of the things that's happening is that the funding has actually been taken away from the IRS more recently, just last week. How does that impact enforcement and IRS activity?
That's a great question. For taxpayers who owe, it's not going to change much, David. Every year, their annual funding is going to be funded, and this budget, this $60 billion now, is going to go towards modernization and enforcement all the same. So there should be little difference.
So although Congress got that 20 billion pound of flesh out of the IRS, the near-term or short-term impact to the IRS is negative or null?
It's inconsequential.
Okay, so let's talk about what it's going to feel like for American families who owe. What can they expect?
I think they go in two big buckets, David. One is if you haven't filed a return and anticipate owing, and the other bucket is filing a return with a balance due.
Got it.
Now, if you haven't filed a return, you might expect a CP59, which is a reminder to file your return.
Knock, knock, knock. We're still here. Come and file your return.
And if you filed a return with a balance but haven't paid it, if you haven't already gotten it, you'll receive a CP14, a balance due notice, reminding you that not only do you owe for the taxes unpaid, but also penalties and interest.
Knock, knock, knock. Here's your bill, right?
Absolutely.
So they know about your amount owed and they're asking you to participate by setting up an installment agreement or paying in full.
Right.
Okay. To recap, it was a real honor to visit the IRS and talk about some of the problems taxpayers who owe face, and also meet with some congressmen to work together to make it easier for you. We're here to take that burden off of you so you can enjoy your summer the way you should be. Phil, any last parting words?
As usual, do something. In this case, even if you get a notice, it's nothing to be scared of. We're here to help, so don't hesitate to reach out.
We'd love to help you. That concludes the show for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thank you for watching today. Please be sure to like
And subscribe.
so you're up to date with all the information you need when you're taking on the IRS.
And as always, do something.